Welcome everybody. Welcome to our webinar together with Seobility. I'm seeing there are a few people joining. We just had our German version and it was really packed. We had over 250 registrations. The English version doesn't seem to be so demanded, but we of course tell you everything what we told also all the others in our earlier webinar. Just for a quick start, we are using this webinar recording tool here on the right side. You have a chat. You can type in anything you like, any question, tell us where you're from, if you're already a neuroflash user or Seobility user or not. And you should be able to see my screen at the moment and my video. And yeah, during the webinar, if you have any question, just send us inside the chat and we will answer it. Cool. Then let's kick it off. Really, yeah, feeling honored to be here with you today, that you take the time, and especially also really feeling honored that Matthias is here. Quickly, maybe to my person, I'm Henrik, CMO and co-founder of neuroflash. We are an AI text generator from Hamburg. And yeah, I don't really like writing copy. So I built basically the solution to my own problem. And I'm here today with Matthias, CMO at Seobility. A warm welcome and really cool that you take the time and showcase everything behind the SEO technology.
Briefly saying hello. Thank you for having me, Henrik. I'm really happy to provide some insights into the, by the way, it's called in the English language, we need to fix that TF-IDF analysis. Only in Germany it's called VF-EDF.
Always make that wrong.
But we were having a fast pace after this launch, so yeah, that's forgivable. I'm leading marketing and support here at Seobility, and yeah, we are pretty happy to be providing the TF-IDF technology behind neuroflash's newest feature that brought some attention to our tools too, which is always great. And it's really great what they are doing and what they are now doing together with our technology. So I think that's really a win for them and for us. So looking forward to explaining more when we get there.
Nice, cool, thanks. Good. Briefly to the agenda today, I will, for all the people here who haven't heard so much about AI generated content yet, we'll just do a really brief introduction to the technology behind it. Then we will actually write a blog article around 1,000 words and then optimize it with a TF-IDF analysis of Seobility. And at the end, if you have any questions, we will address them. All right. To give you a quick background of the technology we use GPT-3 for the text generation part. And you can imagine it's like a language model, so a computer which read 10% of the public available internet. So around 300 billion texts actually. So Wikipedia has 3 billion texts, so you can imagine how much text it actually read. And from that, it learned how we humans communicate, how we write, and also learned the know-how we have, and also learned different languages. So yeah, we chose this image here because I imagine it like I would be my whole life in a library reading all the books and the internet, but this computer just did it within a few months. And the really interesting part about this technology is it's, as other AI technologies, it's basically measuring the likelihood of which word follows to the next word, and out of that builds complete sentences. This sounds very mathematically now, but it's actually like the copy which is generated is really creative, and the most important part here, especially for the SEO use case, it's unique copy. So anytime everybody of us writes good in the briefing, so first place we need a briefing. We need to send neuroflash certain context and a few keywords, so we know about what kind of topics we should write about. And if we would send the same briefing at the same time, we would always generate different suggestions, different variations of the text. And this makes it really powerful. The data behind it is trained in 2021. So this is also really important to know. It doesn't know the news from yesterday, basically, but it knows quite a lot of things since 2021. That's not really old. So how does it work, the process? You first choose a language in our app, then you choose a text type. And what is a text type? Text type can be 4 different things. It can be a general writing tool. So it can be, for example, a product description, can be an outline for your next blog article. So it's just basically writing text. Then we have channel-specific text types, which basically includes channel-specific limitations, such as in Google, you're only allowed to have certain characters, like I think 68 or something. In email marketing, we saw that subject lines which perform well have always an emoji in there. So we add an emoji when we write a subject line for you. Then the customer insights, psychology text types are more there to help you to brainstorm and ideate and get lots of new ideas before you actually start writing. So here, for example, we generate positive and negative emotions and associations for a certain topic. And then there are like the efficiency tools, which just help you to rewrite, summarize, or even make certain text longer. So one step back before we jump into the app and actually write the article. After you chose the text type here, we have over 80 different ones, all sorts of texts you need for marketing and communications. You need to add a certain briefing. And this briefing is dependent, is a bit different per text type. In this case, sorry, it's still in German, but the text type is product description. And for the product description text type, we would need like 4 or 5 keywords like product benefits, product details. And from there, we would basically generate you a full written product description. And that's how basically all the other text types are built. So jumping into the app, I hope you can see it. I will zoom in a bit. We have 2 different ways of starting. Either way, you just start with a plain document, or you start with a blog post builder. And I want to show you the blog post builder as we want to generate a blog article. So I chose English. Now my topic is difference between cold brew and iced coffee. I click on next, and now on the right side, it generates me new ideas for headlines for such an article. I can always add my own one. So you're always in the driver's seat in neuroflash. We don't replace copywriters. We just help you to become more creative. And maybe you have a bad day and you need to write text about a certain topic all the time. So then neuroflash helps you also to come up with new ideas. So let's see which kind of title I want to choose. Yeah, I like actually this one, which is right for you. Click on continue, and this is still safe from my last run through. Now it generates me an outline. So an outline is like the subheadlines, the subtopics inside the article. What is cold brew coffee? What is iced coffee? The difference between the two. All right, sounds good. I click on continue. And now neuroflash opened me a new document. On the left side, I have a headline. I have the outline already pasted. And on the right side, it already starts writing a first paragraph for the first subheading. So it gives you 2 different options here, or even 3 now. You can choose off. You can also use all of them and then just copy paste and edit a bit. So I just choose this one. Here it added subheading. So now it added even a different question. Let's see. Yeah, I will delete this one. So now I already got a first good idea. Actually repeating here a bit. Lower temperatures. Okay, I will click on refresh here on the right side to just get new proposals for this paragraph. I can add this one already here to the bottom, difference between the two. Yeah, this looks much better. Cold brew coffee is made by steeping coarsely ground coffee beans, etc., etc. Yeah, so that sounds like a nice, nice text. And now, how would the workflow look like? I would just go to the next subheading, just copy it. And here you already see how the briefing looks like for this particular text type writing a blog section. It asks me for what is the blog about. So here we just added the first initial keywords we added. And now we're just exchanging the subheading. And now neuroflash writes me the next paragraph for this heading. And as mentioned before, unique content here. So of course you should always add your own touch to it. You should check facts. You should add your own know-how to it and edit it. Yeah, it's really there for the first proposal. It's maybe 60, 70% of what you would normally publish, but it helps you to become much faster and yeah, kicks off deletes basically the writer's block. All right, so now luckily we partner up with Seobility, and you see here on the right side, you see the SEO analysis feature. So I would just click on here. I would just quickly copy this keyword for which I want to rank. I choose Google.com, so I want to rank in Google.com, and my keyword is a really long tail keyword. In this case, the difference between cold brew and iced coffee. And now I click on Analyze. And basically now I get the IDF analysis data from Seobility inside the sidebar of neuroflash. And Matthias will tell you now what is actually behind it and where the data comes from.
Great. Thank you, Henrik. So where do I start? TF-IDF, the analysis, has its origin in information technology. Actually, it's not something that any SEO person has come up with, but it's from like bibliothecaries that try to capture the content of texts. So they try to weigh the words that are in these texts, and by that capture what content is in there. So the TF-IDF analysis used by SEOs applies this analysis to the best ranking pages for a particular search term. So what it does, it analyzes the content of the best ranking pages and identifies the terms on these pages that are frequently used in the context of the search term. So while this is not 100% correct, we can talk basically of the context around the search term. And as an example, we could look at the keyword honey. If you would write about the keyword honey, then you would certainly need to also write about beekeepers or about bees. If you don't do that, you're probably not writing about the topic of honey, but you're writing writing only using the keyword honey. And that's important because that's what also the Google algorithm could conclude, that this is not really a text about the desired topic, honey, if beekeeper and bees are not in the text, but it's actually only a text that uses this keyword. Hence, that's why we want to use these keywords and include them in our texts and make sure that the content actually deals with these subtopics, let's say. And what's the beauty of the integration into neuroflash now is that you can actually use these keyword suggestions for your content creation. You don't just stuff them somewhere where they might fit, but you actually use them during content creation and actually cover a broader spectrum than you might have if you hadn't used the TF-IDF analysis. And yeah, then there is one restriction that I would like to mention. This is basically about which topics, which search terms are a good fit for the TF-IDF analysis. Due to the nature of this analysis, not every search term is the same and works as well as others. You want the content to be text heavy, and you want it to be for informational intent. So if we take the opposite, transactional intent in this pyramid here, that's turned upside down. If you're looking at to buy an iPhone, you do not cover many topics beyond iPhone, and even the topic iPhone is probably not covered very deeply. You would want to have iPhone X review if you want to have the topic of iPhone covered deeply. But by iPhone is really not very text heavy. And on the other side, if you want a pancake recipe, you could talk about the different flavors that you could enrich the pancakes with, and how to make the dough very good. I don't know any words in that context. And so there is really a context around the main search term. That's what I want to say. That can be analyzed, and that where the TF-IDF analysis can actually find out the similarities between the sites ranking well for the search term and provide insight into the context that these sites cover. Other topics that work well are special topics, like niche topics, the so-called long tail. We want the search results to be of a homogeneous search intent. Like there are some keywords that have a heterogeneous search intent, where Google knows that the searchers expect different results, even though they all type the same keyword. So if you talk about Jaguar, then you might mean the animal, or you might mean the car brand. If you talk about Google, you might want to know about the current stock price. You might want to know about their famous headquarter buildings or any news about Google. So you don't want these kinds of keywords. They don't work well with TF-IDF. Okay, and as Henrik already mentioned, news, they don't work well with neuroflash, but they also don't work with TF-IDF very well. So really focus on informational and long tail, and you will do great. That said, always make sure to optimize, but even more so, make sure to add value. If you're actually looking to go for top rankings, you will be able to be on the radar of Google when it discovers your content for a search term. But if you really want to tackle the top rankings, there is more to it. You need to be better than the competition that's already ranking there. Analyze those, find out what it takes, and then do it and beat them. So that's for me. Handing back to Henrik. Thank you.
All right, thanks for this technical deep dive here. I will now show you how the feature is actually like integrated and usable inside your creation flow. So first, here on the top, you got an indication how long your existing content on the document is performing in comparison to the top 20 search competitors on those keywords. Here on the top, on the bottom, you actually see them. So you can also just click on the one which is ranking on number 1, and you can get a feeling of how the article looks like, what kind of images are there. There's a video. You can get some ideas for your own content. What you can do is also adding, for example, the meta title of this particular website. You could just click on Add to Editor, and you could just use this as a subheading and rewrite it before, and maybe more in a positive or casual tone, right? Or you can get the meta description. You can also just rewrite it and use it for yourself. So this is, I think, a great inspiration, and also helps you to speed up. In regards of the TF-IDF, many tricks I think included here. So first is now we have many keywords which we have to include more often in the content, and we have already got a few which are quite in a good range, in a good density inside our content. What is really cool, which is one of my favorite features, is I can click on the keyword actually, and it's highlighted in the content. So I can directly see where this keyword is, and maybe at some point it's a keyword which I have to use less often. So I could just rewrite it or just completely delete it. What I can also do is I can click on Add All to Editor, and they are added to the bottom. And I think this is what Matthias mentioned as a really interesting thing is I can now combine these contextual important keywords outside of this analysis into my creation process. So I go back to our magic pen. We call it magic pen. It's basically the text generation feature. And what you can do here is, for example, I can search for the questions generator, which will generate lots of different questions for me based on a few keywords here. So right now I want to flavor taste is very easy or very similar, caffeine and beans. So those were keywords which I should still include more. And now I just typed in the briefing, and it gives me a few questions. All right, like this one. How does it affect the roasting process? I like this one as well. So right now I just got questions, right? But the interesting thing now is you can just highlight those questions, and you see here the feature continue writing. Usually you use this feature as it's named, and you have existing text which you want to make longer. But in this case, as this is a question, neuroflash will automatically identify that this is a question, and usually after a question there is an answer, right? So that's also what you want here. So I just click on continue writing, and now it should write me the answer to this question, which would additionally give me more keywords I need, because it's probably roasted. There's coffee beans should be also somewhere in here. Coffee beans. So now I just got another paragraph really quickly, and I can do that with a few questions. What you could also do is questions and answers. So imagine you want some kind of FAQs, and this text type helps you a lot and just come up with a few questions and write the answers directly to it. Why is coffee the best drink? Yeah, so you can, this is really the first learning curve with neuroflash. Try out different text types which help you. And in the briefing, you should always add the keywords for which you need more content and which are still missing inside your blog article. And then you can just go back, click on refresh. And now you see what changed. So more keywords on green, which is great. Now flavor is too often in there, so you could just delete it or rewrite it a bit, find synonyms. And like this, you have like a really speed up process, I would say, for your well-ranking articles. You can even add stock-free, license-free image from Unsplash for your article with a based on the keyword. And voila, in a few minutes you are ready with your first draft, which of course you still need to add certain references, your own know-how, and improve the quality. But I think it helped you now already to really save a lot of precious time. All right, I think that was it, more or less, in terms of the feature and how you can integrate it and use it. I look into the chat. If there are any questions, just let us know. Otherwise, I will end this webinar with a few informations on where the SEO feature is integrated into our plans. So right now, if you have the power plan, you can do 100 requests per month, 100 analysis. And if you're on the premium plan, you have unlimited requests per month. As a hint, we will actually open this feature also for our basic plan. So in case you have the basic plan, you will be able to also test it out at least. This was a request of our users, so now we are working on that. Yeah, and over to you, Matthias. Do you have any last words or any wise comments you want to send out to the world here?
Thank you, Henrik. I'd like to say thank you for having me, and I really enjoyed the partnership, and I hope that you all were able to take something from my explanations. If there are any further questions, feel free to reach out also to me personally or our support team. If it's really SEO related, if there are other topics, of course, neuroflash support team is your place to go. And if you want to learn more about what Seobility can do for you, it's an all-in-one SEO software. You can find more here on seobility.net. That's all.
Great. All right, guys, thanks for your time, and have a great rest of your evening.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.